Welcome back to the Pure Drive podcast. I'm your host, Brian Dunlevy. As always, we got my guy Brian Butt here on my left. Back. And today we have Athan Goulos.
Hey everyone, what's going on?
Good morning. Thanks for joining us today, Athan.
Of course, thank you.
So we're going to talk about a couple different things today. Obviously, it's U.S. Open week, Shinnecock. We talked a little bit about Shinnecock last week. Arguably, in my opinion, the best U.S. Open venue that we have.
Yeah.
I would do anything to play that golf course.
No, it was crazy.
And National Golf Links, which shares the property. In any case, there's a couple things we want to talk about first. Athan and I hosted the Pure Drive Junior Academy this winter. So we want to talk a little bit about teaching competitive level juniors.
Yep.
So juniors that play in high school, that play tournaments, that are hoping to play in college. Mm-hmm. Maybe talk a little bit about the levels required to play, D3, 2, and 1 college, and then also maybe some suggestions as to tournaments they should play. Mm-hmm. We'll talk a little bit about your experience playing in college, my experience playing in college, things like that. So let's start off first and talk about the Junior Academy. Yep. So let's tell the listeners exactly what that was.
So it was a 12-week program. We had 8 juniors, going through all aspects of the game, short game, long game, mental game, course management. We wanted the whole influx of information for the juniors in regards to all their game.
Yeah. We were meeting once a week for 12 weeks, 2 hours.
Yeah, which was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was really, really good.
We had a really good group of juniors for this as well.
Yeah, we did.
A lot of good players, all good kids, which was great.
Yeah, absolutely. It was definitely very fun. And seeing them succeed towards the end and get comfortable and meet new friends was also awesome to see as coaches. So
definitely. Where the tricky part in Massachusetts, being a competitive player in Massachusetts, is unless you are traveling, you're probably packing it up for the winter.
Yeah.
And for these high school kids, especially you're trying to play in college, there's a lot of kids in other states that are lucky enough to be able to play year round.
Yep.
We don't have that here.
Yeah.
So we were trying to figure out something that would allow for these kids to try and not just maintain, but improve their games over the winter, try and get some competitive reps. We were doing challenges most weeks where we'd put them head to head. And I think that was really helpful for them. And we've seen a good few of them kind of get off and running to start this season.
Yeah, of course.
We've had some couple juniors that have had some really good finishes, wins in tournaments, things like that, which is great.
Yeah.
Let's talk about teaching a competitive high school player.
Yeah.
Where I would say it's probably different than teaching your typical amateur golfer.
Of course.
Obviously, the skill level's different, but also these juniors can take to what we're teaching them so quickly.
Yeah.
And so you have to be careful when you're teaching a junior, especially one who practices a lot.
Yeah.
Because if you tell them to do something, they're gonna
be ingrained.
They're gonna do it.
Yep.
So you better make sure that you tell them the right thing.
Yeah.
And you may teach them differently than a typical adult, where you won't be using exaggerated feels, I found.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Where if you tell them, let's say a junior is steep coming down, and you're trying to get them, a little bit more from the inside, a little bit shallower. If you tell them that, there's a chance in 2 weeks, or maybe a little longer, let's call it a month, when you see them.
It's not booking it.
Versus an adult who has been playing golf for longer and their patterns are more ingrained, they could be still trying to exaggerate that feel and they might still be hitting cuts.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful when teaching juniors. And as a junior golfer, you got to be careful what you're working on, because you got to make sure, and you better make sure that it is the correct thing.
Yeah.
Because if you start working on the wrong thing and you practice a lot, they'll probably find a way to hit the ball with it. Like they'll be able to play some golf, but it's not going to be good.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think I tell my students all the time, like how often should I be practicing? Like say older guys, not a junior golfer. Say you got kids, you got family, you got work. If you can get out a couple times a week, that's awesome. But all right, if you're a junior golfer, where I was a junior member of Ferncroft Country Club, I was out there 5-6 days a week practicing, playing, short game, whatever it was. So you definitely make sense where, say if you get someone that is coming over the top, you get them swinging to the inside, it's like the next week they're like, oh, I'm hooking it. It's so easy for them because they're ingraining it for hours on a day, every day. So we definitely got to keep an eye out and just keep things simple. They're young. They're going to absorb things like sponges. But just keep it fun, and their games are going to change as they hit puberty and get bigger and stronger, and their body changes. Like yourself and myself, our swings changed when we were kids.
100%.
13, 15, 20.
Yeah.
It's crazy how many times your swing will change in years to come.
Yeah, and especially for these juniors, I think the immediate success of working on something isn't necessarily the goal, where you're trying to mold a game that takes them into college and takes them in competitive golf in the future. So if they have a pattern that is maybe a little funky, it might be something you want to try and fix now.
Yeah.
That way they don't ingrain that pattern for another 8 years and then try and fix it later.
Yeah, 100%.
Where if they have, a crazy grip or just something weird going on, like you got to try and get that out of their system quickly so it doesn't stay in their system forever.
Yep, I agree. I absolutely agree.
Let's talk about maybe a couple things. I want to talk first about helping juniors play tournament golf. Mm-hmm. And there's a few different sides to this. This is not technical swing elements.
Yeah.
I think there's a few things that it's good for junior golfers and any competitive golfer to know. If you're trying to play, a Mass AM event or something like that, Pub Links, whatever. Juniors don't typically have the best course management. I know I didn't when I was a junior, and I may depending on the round, I may not have it now. Do as I say, not as I do. Yeah. But a lot of times juniors will look at a scorecard. They see, let's say, a par 4, 380.
Yeah.
What club do they grab?
Oh, driver. Immediately. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if they're playing Thompson and the fairway's 20 yards wide. Bomb and driver.
So we had a conversation with our juniors at the academy. It was probably like a half-hour kind of seminar on course management.
Yeah.
And we were trying to teach them how to use a GPS.
Yep.
To map out a course. You can do it before you play the tournament, or you can do it as you're playing it. And essentially what we had to try and teach them is find the fairway width, or the width from hazards, we'll say. Exactly. So let's say if you're playing Thompson, let's say there's OB on both sides and it's 38 yards. Yeah. It's probably not driver.
Yeah, seriously.
Where you'll see these juniors, they get up to this hole, they hit driver, and it might not even be a bad swing, but let's say they just overfaded a little bit and it goes out of bounds, and that's a very quick double. Yeah. Versus if they were to just take the smart play.
Yep. Have a little longer in, instead of the 40 yards of 120, 140.
Yeah.
There's 2 shots if you hit one out of bounds.
Yeah. So
can add up.
Course management's huge. How about short game? You help them a lot with their short games. Course management with the short
game stuff, the biggest thing with juniors, I was there, and I think everyone here that works here was okay, grab the 60, open that thing up, let's get that thing popping up to the sky.
Flop shots everywhere.
And especially in here, it goes up in the ceiling, and we lose the ball. We're like, where'd the ball go? Just having a different, there are situations where you need height to make the ball stop around the greens, but going to a shot where, okay, even with a 56, I can open up the face a little bit and get a little height. I don't need to flop this thing up in the air. But just learning different shots of your arsenal, meaning, you got a bump and run, you got a medium trajectory type of shot, you got a high shot, you got a spinner. Just teaching those to the juniors, where, not every shot's going to be a flop shot. And you shouldn't be hitting a flop shot every single time you have a 30-yard chip shot. Just depends on the situation. You got a bunker to carry. You got water to carry. Is the pin in front? It's a lot different. Where I give the analogy of you go play. What's the course over here?
Unicorn.
You go play Unicorn. The greens are very soft, very slow. Where if you go play the country club where you played last week, it's definitely very different. Where I might need to take the 60 out because there's a couple ways you can stop the ball, spin, but you're not going to generate a lot of spin from 20 yards. You need the height to make it stop, so you better pull that 60-degree out. It just depends on the situation, but just having those different shots in your arsenal makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, you see these juniors, you give them a 30-yard shot, and they're probably going to try and hit a flop shot.
Oh, every time.
How many times in your last round did you hit a flop shot?
Probably out of 40 chips, maybe 3, 2.
You had 40 chips in your last round?
No, a couple. Actually, yeah, probably. You saw that round at Portsmouth. Nine greens. I put on my Instagram. 9 greens, a lot of missed greens, but up and down king here. I'm just very comfortable with my short game. I grew up hitting 30-yard shots in my grandfather's backyard right next door to me. It was downhill. There was a big pond. And if you were short, you were in the pond. And there was a landing area from the back end of the pond to the conservation land. It was about 10 yards. And then once you're past the 10 yards, you're in conservation land. So I would hit a bunch of shots. I'd either be in the pond, on the land, or in the conservation land. So I would just practice my feels. And I wouldn't use rangefinders, just practice my feels in regards to hitting different types of shots and just dial in distance control and feel.
Yeah.
Do you use, that's a question I have for you guys. If you're 30 yards away or near the green, do you guys pull out a rangefinder?
No.
That's good. I'm curious. Leave in the comments.
Yeah.
Do you use a rangefinder from 30 yards? I'm very curious to see.
What's the maximum distance you think you should be using a rangefinder?
Maximum or minimum?
Sorry, minimum.
Maximum 600 yards.
40, 50?
Yeah.
50?
I feel like around
It's
50.
more like a half sand wedge shot for me, but 30, I'm just focusing on all right, where do I want to land this thing?
Yeah, I think it's kind of a feel thing. Let's say if it's a very elevated green, let's say you're just short of 9 at Turner, that's super uphill. I might bring the rangefinder to see if it's 40 yards or 60 yards because you can't tell. It's so uphill. But if you're greenside and if you can see the entire green, you probably don't need a rangefinder.
No. I'm just building the feel. That's so important.
Familiarity with the course too could play a factor.
Yeah.
It's a new course or it's one you play every week.
That's definitely true. I would say a lot of players from that distance, if they bring a rangefinder, I guarantee you they probably don't know what a 30-yard shot is anyway.
No.
Where it's funny in here on TrackMan, you'll ask them to hit a 35-yard carry. Most people don't have a feel for that.
No.
So what's the point of having the rangefinder anyway?
That's a great point. That's an awesome point.
Where if you don't know what 35-yard carry is, you won't know what it is on the rangefinder either. Just try and go for feel.
Yeah, exactly.
Where were we? We were talking about short games for juniors.
Yep.
Also, a little bit of course management into par fives. I think is good for them to know. I do think it is good for junior golfers to be aggressive.
Yes.
It's nice to learn how to make a lot of birdies and to shoot a low score. I think that's a great thing. And for junior golfers, this is something that Bryson DeChambeau talks about a lot. Playing shorter tees.
Yes.
At their home courses, maybe playing up 2 tees, like maybe not all the way on the front. You could do the front tees, and just try and shoot under par.
Yeah, 100%.
It teaches them control with their wedges. It teaches them how to hit tee shots into tighter areas.
Yep.
And it'll force them to shoot more under par. And
I remember when I used to work with Jim McLean, he would always just tell me, for confidence boost, play off the reds. Make some eagles, make some birdies.
Yeah.
So that's definitely huge too. And then your part as well.
And then into par 5. So I was saying that I think I like for junior golfers to be aggressive, but in a tournament, I would try and be smart about it.
Yeah.
Where if there's very obvious trouble and potential to make a big number, probably don't go for the par 5 and 2.
Yeah.
If it is pretty wide open and you're confident in your short game, go for it.
Yeah.
Try and make the eagle. But I will see a lot of players will take that to the extreme, and anytime there's a par 5, they go for it, and then they end up making a double.
And I think a good thing too, I'll put people in situations in here, you probably do the same thing, where, say you're 270 out on a par 5, and I'm saying, okay, if you don't miss the green, you're going to have like 20, 30 yards, whatever it is. Oh yeah, I'm like, do you feel comfortable with a 20, 30 yard shot? Not really. Okay, so maybe we shouldn't be going for the green. Maybe we should be laying up to 100 yards and, having that aspect of, okay, you're 100 yards, you get a full wedge shot. You don't have to worry about too much finesse around the greens.
Yep.
So I think it just depends on the situation as well.
Yeah. And a lot of times for juniors, but also this is for anyone. If it's a long enough distance where you can't get there,
have a full swing in.
What's the point of taking your longest club?
Yeah.
So let's say you have 280 yards and your 3-wood goes 240.
Yeah.
What's the point? The 3-wood is something that tends to be a difficult club for most people.
Yep.
What's the point of trying to push the 3-wood down there that you may mess up and it might bring in a big number compared to just hitting a 6-iron and then a wedge?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, no, and that's, I think as you grow up and, again, we were juniors at one point, learning that and be like, okay, maybe when you do see the things, okay, instead of going to the green, I'm going to lay up, like for me, if I'm playing a long par 5 and I have 280 to a hole, I might go, I love 120. That's like a comfortable 50-degree wedge for me. I'll lay up purposely to 120 and go, I feel very comfortable with the shot. Versus, even if I had 40 yards, I still feel very comfortable. But once I saw, okay, I can lay up to 120 yards and put it relatively close majority of the time from 120 yards, I'm more apt to do it more often.
Yeah, I think obviously the stats always show like, oh, push it down as far as you can at all times. I would say that works well for a high-skilled golfer who can consistently make solid contact and hit the ball fairly straight.
Yeah.
For a lot of amateurs and even some juniors, if they get out these long clubs, long irons, woods, the misses get pretty catastrophic, tops, chunks, sideways.
Yeah.
And although in theory pushing it down as far as possible is probably the best play, in reality hitting those clubs brings in way more miss opportunity than just laying up and being smart about it.
I think a big thing too is boring golf is good golf.
Yep.
100%. You don't have to take up the 3-wood in front of your buddies and go, hey guys, watch this, and then throw it into the house, into someone's kitchen. But just boring golf is good golf. Center of the greens, you don't have to tack pins. Just boring golf's good golf.
Yep. And I think for these juniors, practice rounds, fun rounds at their home course, practice these shots.
Of course, yeah, 100%.
But if you're in a competitive round, or even just a round you care about, if you're playing with friends and you want to shoot a good score, think about it a little bit before you decide what club to take.
And I think a big thing too is like, okay, if you're coming up to a second shot on a par 5, you're 260 yards out. When you take that 3-wood out, you shouldn't have any doubt of, am I gonna hit this good? Is this gonna go right? You better be going, I am gonna hit this good. Even if I miss it, I have plenty of room to work with near the green.
Yeah.
If you have that doubt, that's a good indication of, okay, let's maybe rethink that plan a little bit.
Yeah. I like that a lot, actually. If there's any hesitation, it's probably not the right club.
Exactly. Yep.
All right, let's talk a little bit about, first, we'll talk skill level, maybe required to play different levels of collegiate golf.
Yep.
And then we can talk about our experience playing collegiate golf. So what would you say, now something that I think has gotten way more popular, which has been great for the juniors, is club golf at different schools. Some of these club teams have gotten really, really good.
Really good. Really good.
Which is great. And so it allows for juniors to go to a school that they may want to go to, but they may not quite have the skill level yet to play on the golf team.
Yep.
So they play on the club team.
Yep.
And I think that is an awesome thing for these juniors to be able to do. What would you say the skill level required to play? It's very different. Club teams, there's a pretty wide range, I will say.
100%.
So it's a little trickier than Division 2, 3, 1. But what would you say the skill level required? Like, what scores would they have to shoot to get on a club team?
Like a decent club team, maybe like low 80s, maybe mid 80s.
Yeah, I think probably low 80s, occasionally breaking 80.
Yeah.
Is probably.
You definitely have a great chance. There's definitely some club teams where like they're really good.
Yeah. There's club teams that there's a lot of players that can shoot under par fairly consistently.
Yeah.
Plus handicaps, things like
Which
that.
I think is crazy.
Yeah, it is
crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
The skill level in college golf has gotten insane.
Yeah.
Jackson Coyven just turned pro.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or is turning pro after the US Open.
Week,
yeah, he's playing this week, then he's turning pro. Arguably the greatest college player of all time.
Yeah.
3 individual titles, like crazy.
That's crazy.
So the skill level in junior golf has gotten crazy. So let's say for club team, you are plus minus about 2 strokes from 80.
Yeah.
I would say is about where you should be.
Yeah, I would agree.
And then for Division 3, again, there's wide ranges.
Yep.
But I would say a basic rule of thumb for Division 3 is breaking 80 7 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
I would
agree.
You have the potential to maybe shoot around even par.
Yep.
And then up to your worst score maybe being like an 81, 82.
Yeah, low 80s.
Yeah, I think that's probably what I would say is around Division 3.
Yep.
Obviously, Division 3, there are some amazing Division 3 players as well that can consistently shoot under par, things like that. Then Division 2, I would say, is just maybe 3 strokes better than that.
Yeah.
Shooting close to even par, most of the time breaking par, occasionally not really shooting many over 80.
Yep.
And then finally is Division 1, And again, wide range in Division Ones, but high level Division One golf, you need to be breaking par in tournaments the majority of the time.
Yeah.
I would say, or at least shooting around even par.
Yeah, probably scoring average of like 72, 71, maybe a little lower.
Yeah, like if you're trying to play at a big school, your scoring average is probably around 72.
Yeah, yep.
If you're trying to play Division One, maybe a more local one, smaller Division One program, you know, a scoring average of maybe 73, 74 is probably still good enough.
Yep.
But these players are extremely polished.
Yeah.
And the majority of the time they're recruited because they have a lot of really good junior tournament finishes.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're not recruited and you can walk on, talk to the coach, things like that. But a lot, especially nowadays, most of these programs are closed programs. They don't even do tryouts anymore.
Yep. No, 100%. And I was lucky at St. Leo where, you know, I looked at schools and, you know, I always wanted to go to school down in Florida. And the coach, the first coach that was there said, "Oh, cool, I'll give you a walkout tryout." And they were decent. They were probably like, you know,
what division was St. Leo?
Division 2.
Yeah, okay.
And this was literally like a week before I'm packing, getting ready to go. I get a newsletter that the coach was let go. So I'm like, oh Jesus! Now I'm going to school. I don't even know if I can. I don't know the new coach. I don't know if he's gonna let me. I don't know if he's a team already. At the end of the day, he let me try out. I was fortunate enough to be the only one that made the team. There was a target score of like 148 for 2 rounds, and I made a double on the last hole. I was on the 18th hole. I'm like, okay, all I do is I can't make a triple. And sure enough, my second shot like went just close to in the hazard, and I didn't get up and down. I made double. I made the team, and I think the cool thing about golf too is no matter what division you go, you still can go pro. You know, it's not like basketball where
100%.
if you're a great Division I player at Duke, you're probably gonna go to the NBA. In golf, it doesn't matter if you're putting the scores up and playing in good tournaments and, you know, playing well, you can go pro.
100%. You see it a lot with Division II players that end up either moving to Division I or they leave school and then turn pro, play mini tour stuff, and then build their way up.
Yeah.
I mean, your teammate, right, who played last week at RBC or this weekend.
Joey Savoy. You know, I first met Joey when I was my freshman year. He came from Canada to St. Leo. He spoke no English, nothing. He spoke just French.
It's crazy.
And, you know, when I tried out and I made the team, I redshirted my first year just to get comfortable, work on my own game, and, you know, get ready for making tournaments. I didn't try to qualify for tournaments, but they got so good. Like, if you're not, we would do 3 or 4 rounds for a qualifier for a tournament, Monday through Thursday, 18 holes.
Wow. And
if you were shooting like over 2 over every round, 1 over, you're not no shot being top 5 to make the traveling team.
It's crazy.
In the year that I transferred, they won the national championship in Colorado in 2016 Division 2. They were 25 under for 2 rounds and 26 under total for 3 rounds. So after 2 rounds, they were 25 under as a team.
It's crazy.
And that goes to show you, like, they could have beaten 99% of all Division I schools in the country. They were that good.
Yep.
And one of the other kids, Hugo Bernard, who was also my teammate, he won the individual title that year. He shot 13 under. So it's crazy. And I was very fortunate to play with those guys and learn, you know, and I try to emulate to my students. You know, a big thing I try to tell my players is, if you want to play better golf, play with people that are better than you. That's the easiest way. Just to, instead of going like, if I'm a 5 handicap and someone's a scratch, oh, he's a scratch, I don't know if I can keep up with him. Play with him. You know, try to beat him.
Yep.
Get yourself in these situations.
Yeah, especially for juniors, if you're someone who's newer to golf. Like, I started playing golf my freshman year of high school.
Yeah.
So I made friends with people on the golf team, and I would play with them weekly. Mm-hmm. And my skill level got improved so quickly because I was comparing myself to these players.
Yeah.
I wasn't getting intimidated by it. I was watching what they were doing on the course, and all I was trying to do was beat them.
Yep.
Versus nowadays, there's so many players, like even at my club, there's people that will say, oh, you don't want to play with me, I'm not good enough. I'm like, that's not the point.
Yeah, exactly.
One, if you're a good player who doesn't like playing with worse players, that's kind of mean.
Yeah.
That's not the right way to be. But also, if you're someone who's newer to golf or a higher handicap, you shouldn't be afraid to play with a good player. You can learn a lot just through watching a good player play golf.
You're only going to succeed more. Like I have a student in general, I'm not going to name names. He says whenever I play with someone that I don't know, I like shake. Yeah. I'm like so nervous. I'm like, who cares? And I think once you get past that, nervousness of playing with someone you never met before, you're gonna go to different levels in your golf game. It's like I'm sure you're the same thing. When I'm over the ball, like, there could be a car accident next to me. I'm gonna hit a good shot. Yeah. I'm just so zoned in. I don't care who's next to me, who's watching. Because I think it's just a lot of it is just I've done it so much. Yeah. And put myself in those situations.
I was put. Sorry, that just reminded me. This has nothing to do with what we were just talking about. Yeah. I was put to that test last year when I was playing at the country club in Brookline. Yeah. I was on the first tee. I was literally addressed, standing over the ball, about to hit my first tee shot, and someone crashed into the wall with their car about 20 yards from me. Yeah. It ripped the entire bumper off the car. It was unbelievable. And it was kind of funny because, like, you get on that first tee, then you're a little nervous.
Oh, of course.
And then that happens, and it's just like, that's fine.
It loosens you up a little too.
The woman was fine.
Yeah,
car was pretty damaged, but so I was put to that test. Unfortunately, the car accident did distract me.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
But yeah, that was a good start.
That just goes back to like just blocking the noise out.
Yeah.
You're playing against the golf course, not anybody else. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You could be playing with someone who's shooting a really low score, someone who's shooting a really high score, and you just got to be able to
you just block them out.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about a little more about your college experience. So you'd walked on.
Yep.
You played how many? You played a decent amount of college tournaments.
So I didn't play any tournaments at St. Leo. So it was funny enough when the coach told me the second time. I think it was my end of my sophomore year. He said, "All right, if you come back, you have to try out again," because they were that good. And I think my scoring average was like 76.5. It wasn't the best. It was definitely towards the low side.
It's good though. 76. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people would.
And that goes to show you how well they were playing. Yeah. So I said, I was kind of frustrated, but I'm like, you know what? He's got a team to run and things like that. I'm not going to fight him. So I'm like, I'm going to start looking for schools up here. So I started looking at Endicott and UMass Lowell. And long story short, I met with the UMass Lowell coach. He's like, we talked. We met at like a coffee shop in Haverhill. He's like, I'll give you a full ride if you join.
Wow.
He's giving me a full scholarship.
Wow.
And I told myself, I said, if I have a good summer, I'm going to go back and try out for St. Leo again. And I had a pretty good summer. I played in some good mass golf events and U.S. Challenge Cup events. I went back to St. Leo. I didn't make it. But, again, things happen for a reason. I didn't make it. I stayed there for the semester. I transferred to Endicott, which I had an awesome finishing collegiate career at Endicott. And then little did I know, the program was cut at UMass Lowell.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
So, if I would have been back in the same boat, or probably been worse if I went to UMass Lowell and golf.
You could have carried the program to success.
Yeah, I know, seriously. But of course, for academics too. But and I loved Endicott. I had a great coach, Tom Smith. He was awesome. We had a fun time. He made it fun while keeping competitive. We went to nationals my junior year. It was Ping Hall Region CCC Player of the Year. So it was just cool to be a bigger fish in a small pond than a smaller fish in a big pond.
Yeah.
But just, putting yourself in these situations and not being frustrated. You don't know what type of coach you're going to have, how he's going to work with you in regards to college golf.
Yeah.
You just got to play your game.
For these juniors that are looking to play college golf, there's a few things that I think you can take from your story. One, the school you start with doesn't have to be the school you finish with. Obviously, don't transfer every year, but there's potential to transfer. We're going to skip over the academic part of that. That's obviously, we're talking more just the golf aspect.
Yep.
But the school you start with does not have to be the school you finish with. The division you start with does not have to be the division you finish with.
Nope.
You could start in Division 3 and work your way up to Division 1.
Yep.
You could start in Division 1, realize that maybe you'd rather more playing time and work down to Division 2.
Yeah.
The state you start in doesn't have to be the state you finish in. If you start, let's say you move far away from home, you move down south to try and play some golf, you really don't enjoy it because you're too far from home, whatever, you can come back home and you can find a good program around here.
Yeah.
So although it feels like a very heavy decision at first.
Yeah.
Once you realize that it is actually quite simple to change schools, and a lot of these coaches will take you in with open arms, even coming from different programs, I think it's a little more of a freeing experience for these juniors.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
And obviously, I think the team you play on, like your teammates, do play a huge role.
Of course.
Where you could be in a program that you get a lot of playing time in, you're doing well in the division, but you really don't like your teammates.
Yeah. Yep.
And that can be a tricky spot for some of these juniors. Yeah. So getting a team that you really enjoy as well is a huge.
Oh, that's awesome.
Definitely.
Yeah. Just being friends for the rest of your life, too.
100%.
You know, there's kids from Colombia, Canada, England. I'm all close with them now.
Yeah.
And I think just, it's funny, like, again, the qualifying rounds that we used to do is like mini tournaments.
Yeah.
So just prepping for those where, I mean, you're playing 4 days in a row. Like, we golfed every single day. We would walk to the golf course because they had Lake Javita right next to St. Leo. It was 2 18-hole courses. We just walk and we'd go practice, go play, do our tournament rounds or our practice rounds for qualifiers for the tournaments. And then we would go up to Saddlebrook, like 15 minutes down the road. Carl Vilps used to take lessons there.
Yep.
So we used to go there all the time on the weekends and do like a par 3 competition, short game. We used to do a lot of stuff. And just literally playing every single day was very beneficial.
Definitely. Yeah.
So.
Like college golf, I remember we were playing 5 days a week. Like walking, it's such a good way to improve your game. It's really good for your health. Obviously, walking a bunch is fantastic. Yep. It was one of the best experiences that I had was playing in college. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk a little bit about U.S. Open. We're going to make our picks. Actually, before that, what I want to say is if you're a junior golfer and you have questions in regards to playing in tournaments, playing in college, you can always reach out to us here at Pure Drive. You don't even have to come in for a lesson. If you want to shoot us an email, just check out our website and our email's there. If you have any questions, we'd love to help. Parents as well, you can ask us. So a couple shout outs that we have. Evan Harmeling won the Mass Open
that was crazy.
With our demo driver.
Compliments to Brian Butt.
Yeah. Brian gave him the fit.
To give him the fit, he just wanted the demo head. He brought it to Myrtle Beach when he played in the PGA Tour tournament a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then, he shouted us out on Instagram, said the driver was working this week. Even had the demo, I think it was still the demo grip on there based on the video I saw, which is sick.
What did he do in the first tee shot in here when you tried the driver?
He said this is the best driver I've hit in 5 years.
He said like 335 right down the middle, first drive?
Yeah, first drive. Built different.
If you can guess, the demo drivers definitely have some scuff marks where they'll be fit with any skill level of golfer who can test these demo drivers. So I jokingly was saying he was the only player on the PGA Tour who had sky marks on his drivers.
And Evan did his grips too. So he's got those bright orange grips on his irons.
Yeah. So congrats to Evan Harmeling. Great playing. I had a junior who won a qualifier recently that was fantastic. That's awesome. I've had some good finishes out of some of my juniors, which has been great. U.S. Open. Shinnecock should be fantastic. They're playing the fairways wider. They did not pinch them in from what the members typically play. So the fairways are substantially wider than what they were in 2018. I am curious to see what that does to scoring. 2018, Brooks won at 1 over. Do we think it's going to be under or over par this week?
I think it's going to be like 5 under.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at weather yet. I know wind's obviously a major factor.
Yeah.
I think it's just the modern game. It's so hard to make over par.
Yeah.
Because the guys are just better now than they were in
I think we say
2018.
that every year. It's
true.
like, it's going to be like even, and then it's like, 5 under.
Last year was actually even, but that's what the just high rough does.
Yeah.
And Shinnecock doesn't have that.
I want to see like 10 over wins.
Seriously. Show me 15 over.
I want to see something crazy. What was like in Myopia?
I want to see it unplayable.
Yeah. That's
It was
like
Zach
Myopia.
Johnson, right? He said they lost the course. in
Yeah, they said
2018.
they lost the course. They lost the greens. Yeah.
Well, that's like Myopia had the highest ever U.S. Open hole. I think someone shot at 24 on the fourth hole. And then the highest ever winning score to win the U.S. Open there. I don't know what the score was, but it was like double digits over par.
Yeah, it was huge.
20 over, 30 over, something like that.
I think they had the 4th highest ever U.S. Open score. A guy shot like 120 something or something
I want to
crazy.
see that.
That would imagine seeing a tour guy.
Talk
shoot.
about mental toughness.
I want to see Bryson shoot 95. All right.
That could happen.
So I also agree. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be under par. Probably 5 under. My guess is there are going to be 4 players under par. The winner's going to be at 5 under. Lock that in.
I like it.
If it's like the winner's at 5, but there's like only 2 or 3 guys under par, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It's like a couple guys just played out of their mind.
Yeah.
Yep. So Scotty has a shot at the Grand Slam.
First time going for it.
His game suits Shinnecock quite well. He's been playing okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
his standard.
He's playing fantastic.
I'd say
By
it's
his standards, it's
By his
okay.
standards, it's okay.
a little down.
Yeah.
I mean, he's only won one tournament this year. It's crazy to say.
Yeah,
and it was the first tournament of the year.
There's just a different standard with him.
Absolutely.
So obviously, Scotty has a very good chance to win. I think there's a strong chance he wins.
Yeah.
You have on here Rahm Awakened.
Yeah, I mean the PGA.
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Get him out of there.
Well, yeah, I mean I can see him being in contention. I can also see him missing the cut.
Yeah. I don't think Rahm has mental toughness to play Shinnecock, where you landed on the green, it stops for 3 seconds, and then it comes back 40 yards. I don't think he has that.
Yeah, no.
He's not getting tested like that on a weekly basis either.
No, he's not.
I'm not that the PGA Tour is the hardest courses, but like look at Memorial a few weeks ago. It's a hard course.
Yeah. Can Bryson make the cut? What do you think?
I do not. This course is not set up for him. I
No.
don't think.
Well, it's wide off the tee, but the approach shots require so much precision. I don't think he can hold these greens with how much draw spin he plays.
Yeah, I agree.
Where he's coming in at a 15-degree angle sideways. Like it's going to be tricky to land on your spots and keep it on those tiers with that side spin.
I think he's tinkering way too much.
I think so too.
And he gets super defensive too when you ask him about.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, you're gonna change clubs?" It's like he just gets. It's always a thing.
Yeah. He was saying he was asking AI about his golf swing.
Yeah.
Don't ask AI about your golf swing. It has no clue what it's talking
Don't do
about.
that.
So Fleetwood shot 63 here in 2018. It was a fantastic round. I was there in person. It was so cool to watch. It was cool to see the crowd just build and build over the course of his round. Like by the time he was on the 18th hole, the crowd was massive. It was really cool. So our picks now for this week's U.S. Open.
There's about 40 guys on this sheet here.
So
one thing I want to note, you brought him up earlier. Like I print out like the top 40 guys for the odd sheets about, and Jackson Coyman was on there. And that was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
That name.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see him play with the big boys this week.
Also, we forgot to go. We'll mention. I had another top 5. I think. Did we mention that with Fleetwood?
Yes. You're on fire.
it?
Yeah. No, we didn't mention it yet. Yeah.
Yeah, I had Fleetwood 2 weeks ago. Another top 5.
Yeah.
I have not put any money on my picks yet. I need to start doing that because I have 3 top 5s out of like 6 episodes that we've done.
Dominating because Adam picked Heath Vigal last week, who was in first after the first day, and then I think I looked it up this morning. He didn't come. He finished like T30 or something.
Yeah.
All right. So a person I am scared, Wyndham Clark. He's playing too well.
Yeah.
I do not want to see him.
Me too. He's playing way too well.
Yeah,
for my liking.
It's kind of scaring me a little bit. I don't think he has the game.
I know Athan. He said he's got a pick. So
Yeah, let's hear your pick.
I mean, I've always been a Tommy Fleetwood fan, so I'm going Tommy Fleetwood.
Tommy Fleetwood is
He's
gonna get
playing
done.
very, very well.
He is definitely he's playing his best golf the last few weeks for sure.
So I got Tommy Fleetwood.
I like that.
I got a guy a little further down the board. I think we talked about wider fairways at Shinnecock this year. It's going to help this guy a lot. Hideki Matsuyama.
Okay.
It's a
Pretty
good
erratic
pick.
guy off the tee.
Yeah.
But with a little more fairway forgiveness there, and obviously an awesome iron player.
Yeah.
In U.S. Open, you're not going to hit every green. Like, arguably the best short game on tour.
Yeah, and his
putting's better too. It's not great, but it's better.
At a course like this, because the greens are so tricky, it tends to level out the putting.
Yeah, that's
where
it.
like the bad putters,
Yeah,
the
they
good
get
putters
helped out.
putt worse, the bad putters putt better because everything like
Everyone's putting
relatively
bad.
everyone's putting kind of mid.
And his short game is just phenomenal.
Yeah,
So I like
that
Hideki.
pick. I like that pick. I'm stumped here.
I mean, you can't just. It's a major, so you can pick Scotty. No shame.
I haven't picked Scotty yet, but I do want to comment. Brooks Koepka, he withdrew.
Yeah, that was weird.
Wrist injury. He said he doesn't know what was going on. His hand was numb. He could barely close his hand.
He was in the lead after 2 rounds,
I
right?
know. Brooks is playing so well.
Yes.
I almost, if he didn't have the hand injury yesterday, he was going to be my pick.
Yeah, that concerns me.
I'm surprised his odds haven't gotten worse.
Well, I don't know. I made this yesterday. I don't know if they've.
Maybe it's changed.
Yeah, it may have changed by now.
Hopefully he can play.
Yeah.
And again, the putting, it's going to get negated a bit on these hard greens.
Yep. Sorry, I'm stalling. Gosh. Yeah, you know what? Chalk. Give me Scotty.
Yeah, take
I
him.
want to see the Grand Slam. I want to see some history.
Yeah.
Just back-to-back
2 Grand
years
Slams.
of the Grand Slam.
Yeah, that'd be
kind of
kinda
like takes Rory's buzz away a little bit.
Yeah. Unless Rory gets another one.
That's true.
Could be Rory.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's coming in a little quiet this week.
Yeah. He was talking about his swing. He was like, yeah, if I get stuck under and then I flip it, it can get a little toey and then I get that hook.
It feels like he'll be around. Like, these games are too good to fall out of it. I don't know if he's gonna win. I don't know if this is the perfect course for him, but
No, I don't. But
I think he'll be in and around the leaderboard.
yeah, I like it. So my pick, Scotty, Fleetwood, Hideki. So thank you very much for listening.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you
excited.
next week.
Have a great
Next
week.
week's going to be a recorded pod that Brian and I did this morning. So
Yeah, we're doing some traveling this week.
yeah,
We're going to
we're
Bandon.
I'm going to Bandon.
I'm going to Montana. Play some golf out in the mountains.
That'll be cool.
So
I'm going to
Montana.
Pure Drive Golf.
well, we can report back in a couple of weeks about our travels.
Yeah.
So we'll talk to you then.
All right.
right,
Thank
guys.
you very much for listening.
Thank you.
That's it.